The Clown and the Vampire. It was a gloomy night. The wind was blowing through the trees, making the autumn leaves rustle and fall away to the ground. The moon was behind the clouds, and everything had a silvery, shadowy look. In this half-light, on a lonely old hill, there was a lonely old house. There was a light on inside this house, a solitary globe, which hung by a cord from the ceiling and came to rest above a dresser. Seated at this dresser was a clown. He was staring at himself in the mirror. He was very sad. He had performed at a child's birthday party that day, and it had gone very badly. None of the children had laughed. Actually, a few of them had cried. The clown removed his bright red wig and bright red nose. He gave a long sigh, and sat there, looking at himself, in silence. Suddenly, a tap-tap-tapping came at the window. Who could that be? He wondered. It came again, a tap-tap-tapping. The clown turned around and looked out the window, but no one was there. It's only the wind, he said to himself. He turned back around and got such a fright from his own reflection that he jumped in his chair. Oh, it's only me. Silly me. The clown was scared. The sound came again, a tap-tap-tapping at the window. In the mirror, to his great surprise, the clown saw the window behind him opening. He blinked firmly. Perhaps his eyes were playing tricks on him. No, the window was slowly opening before his eyes. The wind rushed in, bringing some leaves that had fallen from the trees. Suddenly, the clown heard someone speak. Hello? The clown's heart stopped. He shifted his eyes to the left, then to the right, then to the left again. He looked in the mirror, but could see nothing. Hello, the voice said again. The clown turned around and saw a very beautiful woman standing in the room. She was wearing a long satin cloak, which was black on the outside and red on the inside. She was wearing black leather boots, which had very high heels and were laced up from the toe to the knee. And she was wearing a short black skirt and a shiny silver belt around her waist. A black velvet top clung tightly to her body, and around her neck she wore a collar of diamonds. She had raven black hair, and her skin was white as alabaster, but her lips were the color of blood. The clown saw two icy cold pale blue eyes staring back at him. He looked at her in amazement. Cat got your tongue? She said. The clown did not know what to say. The woman's beauty had completely overwhelmed him. She knew this, and laughed, revealing the whitest and brightest set of teeth you ever did see. Strangely, two of her teeth were longer and sharper than all the others, which the clown found quite strange. Aren't you going to say hello? She said. The clown rubbed his sweaty palms together. I think you're in the wrong house. I think I'm not. I think you are, he answered back. A look of scorn came across the woman's face. I think I'm not. An embarrassing silence followed. Are you lost? The clown asked. Are you an idiot? I'm a clown. Do you know what I am? A ghost? I'm not a ghost. Oh, a magician. The woman's eyes flashed with anger. She glared at the clown. What makes you think that? You look like a magician. I am not a magician. Oh, the clown got a fright. You're not a magician. No. Sorry. Are you stupid? I'm a clown. Is that right? The woman replied, sarcastically. Yes. And you don't know what I am? No. Sorry. Guess. The clown looked at her and thought, his face a picture of concentration. He inspected her carefully from head to toe. She tilted her head back and bared her teeth to help him. The clown's eyes brightened. Well, I'm not sure. I'm a vampire, she screamed, her eyes becoming as sharp as the diamonds she wore around her neck. Okay, the clown shouted back, not because he was angry or offended. He just felt it natural to speak in the same way that she did, and he continued shouting, Pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you. How are you? Thirsty. Oh. He brought his voice back to a more suitable volume. Would you like a cup of tea? The vampire was completely bewildered. No! A piece of cake? Cake? Yes. Vampires don't eat cake. What do they eat? They don't eat, you fool. They drink. They drink blood. Why do they drink blood? You must be stupid. I'm a clown. Oh my God! She screamed, and she slapped her forehead. Are you all right? Asked the clown. No, I'm not, actually. What's wrong? Look, I'm a vampire. Vampires drink blood. I'm here to suck your blood. Suck my blood? Why? The vampire slapped her face again. I'm talking to an imbecile. I'm a clown. Yes, you're a clown, so you've told me. Yes. Oh, please forgive me. I've never met a clown before. There's a first time for everything. Yes, there is. Well, go on. Tell me about you. I'm a clown. And what do clowns do when they're not being imbeciles? They make people laugh. The clown's face was very sad. How interesting, said the vampire. I went to a birthday party today. I don't care. Oh, you scared me. Are you a fool? I'm a clown. Whatever you are, I want to suck your blood now. The vampire moved in for the strike. Wait a moment, said the clown. What? Replied the vampire, trying not to lose her temper. You have to ask nicely. The vampire was at breaking point, but she managed to control her anger. Gritting her teeth, she asked in the nicest way possible. May I suck your blood? The clown considered the request for a moment. No. The vampire had had enough. She let out the most terrible, blood-curdling scream ever heard by human ears. The scream rang out, so terrifying that all the remaining leaves fell off all the trees in the neighborhood. A number of the dead who were resting peacefully in the nearby cemetery were woken by the shriek and tossed and turned in their graves. The scream even went as far as the distant hills, where it reached the ears of a number of wolves, who howled in reply, having recognized its message, the call for blood. When the vampire had let out all of the air from her lungs, a deep silence followed. Suddenly, a look of panic came across her face. She started to waver on her feet, and in the next moment, she had doubled over in pain and had fallen to the ground. The clown looked very concerned. Are you all right? No, she said breathlessly. I need blood. The clown thought for a moment. I can give you a little of my blood, if it would help. Yes. The clown looked quizzically at his arms and legs, wondering how he was going to extract his own blood. Cut your wrist, exclaimed the vampire, who was pining fast. The clown went quickly into the kitchen to obtain an instrument that would cut. A knife! Get a knife! The clown rifled through some drawers until he found a knife. He then raced back to the vampire. I've got a knife! But when the vampire saw what he had obtained, she wailed in despair because all the clown had managed to procure was a bread and butter knife. You got a bread and butter knife? Yes. Imbecile! With the little strength she had left, the vampire raised herself to her knees and clambered towards the clown. She grabbed the knife with one hand and, with the other, took the clown's wrist and held it out for the cut. With all her remaining strength, she drew the knife across it, but her feeble attempt had only managed to leave the clown with a scratch. Her strength had failed her. Damn you, clown! She cried, and smashed her head against the ground. I have to go to bed now. You fool! I'm a vampire. I need blood. Yes, you've already told me that. I'm a vampire. Vampires drink blood. I want to suck your blood. He imitated her with uncanny accuracy. Vampires don't eat, you fool. They drink blood. Look at me, I'm a vampire. He moved and sounded exactly like her. Look, I'm a vampire. I want to suck your blood. The clown bared his teeth and flicked back his imaginary hair, trying to be like her. The look of anguish on the vampire's face slowly changed to delight. She started to giggle, and then to laugh. She laughed louder and louder, until her laughter began to interrupt the clown's performance. What are you laughing at? The vampire tried to answer, but she couldn't. She was laughing too much. But in between her gasps, she managed to get it out. You! And she laughed even harder. Me? Yes! You're the funniest clown I've ever seen! Oh, thank you, said the clown, uncertainly. You're the funniest clown in the world, she said, with tears of laughter streaming down her face. The clown was funny again. He continued entertaining the vampire all through the night, telling her jokes and stories, and acting things out from time to time, if the situation called for it. The vampire's laughter, which started off strong, became weaker and weaker. Not because the clown was becoming less funny. On the contrary, he became funnier as the night went on, but because she desperately lacked for blood. But she did not seem to care anymore. She was so happy being entertained. Dawn came. The first rays of the sun shone into the house. The vampire was seated at the dresser, but she had become so weak she could no longer move. She knew her time was up, but there was nothing she could do. At least I'll go with a smile, she thought. The sun rose higher. A new day was dawning. And then, the moment that all vampires dread, seeing the sun. There it was, high in the sky now, shining straight into the house. The vampire could hardly see. The clown appeared as a black silhouette, moving strangely about. Her hearing started to go. The clown's voice sounded as if it were at the end of a long, dark tunnel. And then, there was silence. Light poured in through the vampire's eyes, and deep down into her soul. She started to fade, and then she was gone. Dissolved, it seemed, into thin air. The clown was in the middle of telling a funny story when she had disappeared, and had not noticed her go. When he had finished, he turned around. Did you like that story? But she was not there. He looked around for her. Perhaps she was hiding and wanted to play a trick on him. After all, she had done something similar to him when she had arrived. He looked out the window, but all he saw was the light of the early morning sun streaming into the house. The clown was sad that she had gone, but was happy that he was funny again. Maybe she'll come back to visit me, he thought. But he would never see her again.